Hello there, everyone. We're back with more Homestuck, and we're about to go back 100 pages, or hundreds of pages, in fact. The last one, Dave prototyped himself, and I thought that was cool. So let's see what's happening hundreds of pages ago. Oh, it's the bunny. Wow, the art style is actually crazy. If this is like just legit the old panel, the art style has improved kind of crazy. Anyway, you open the package. There's something suspicious inside. Something suspiciously dirty and smelly. It is a stuffed bunny. Blah, blah, blah.
So hey.
Oh, we actually get to read the letter now.
Since your B-Day, I had to get you back for the sick memorabilia. You got me. So I got you this god-awful thing, and now I know you're standing there flipping your shit over it, so you're welcome. It's the actual gross bunny in that movie, so that means Nick Cage actually grubbed it up with his clownish no-talent fingers. I would suggest you put it somewhere and display it ironically, but I know you're dead serious about this ridiculous shit, so you'll probably keep the damn thing and nibble its ear and stuff. But the weird thing is that's what's cool about you. You're this naive guy like Pinocchio tumbled ass backwards off the turnip truck and started liking Ghostbusters. And then the fairy godmother kissed your nose or some shit and you turned out to be not made of wood and also pretty cool to talk to. One day your gooberish ways are gonna land you in a jam and I know I'm gonna have to get you off the hook, but it's cool. I got your back, bro. Then we'll meet and hug, bump, and get each other's filthy wife... Oh, I love this. Wife beaters. That much filthier. So yeah, peace dog. TG. How is this still around? Like, I know this is an old thing, but this is still around as a way to describe just like a tank top. Which I guess is kind of a similar vibe, right? Because it's like, oh, this is what people wore in tanks. Which isn't really even true anymore either. We need a better name for this article of clothing. Alright. Oh. Is this memory is what's going to stop John from screwing everything up?
Reconsider.
No! No! Pretty sure that's Snoop Dogg, right? Not even Snoop Dogg could save us. Get pestered by Dave. Oh, okay, we're still flying. Never mind, we're good.
Did you blast off like a spazzy douche yet or what?
Yeah, of course. There's no way I wasn't trying out this sweet ride.
God damn it. What do I have to do to make you believe me? Fist bump my future self till I got bloody knuckles and write you an even sappier B-Day note in my own blood? I'm, on a Back to the Future poster?
Relax, I'm not going through the gate. I'm just flying around, having a good time in the sky.
Oh, okay. So you believe me then? And future me? And like, him turning into a floating sword bird?
I don't know anything about that, but it doesn't matter.
Something in my throat.
You're my best bro, and if you say not to go, then I won't go. Hey, can you hold on? I'm getting trolled again.
Oh man. And if we've just concluded anything, so talking to those D-bags should be priority number one, so yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, BRB.
Okay, here we go.
I keep scrolling backwards through your adventure, trying to piece together how you botched this up so badly, and I keep finding these striking pockets of foolishness, like what you're doing right now, riding your little red rocket, like you're a freshly hatched human larva, and this is just a big school hive rumpus respite.
Humans aren't hatched as larvae, dummy.
Was that no, okay. I
We don't hatch at all. We're born as these little pink monkeys called babies.
Bullshit. That's not what you just told me.
What did I say?
I'll paste what you said.
I thought you didn't like going down that road, copy-pasting future past conversations.
Why would I have a problem with that?
I don't know. That's what you just told me.
We're about to find out why he has a problem with that.
Whatever, look.
Okay, so this is John.
This is really weird.
What's so weird about it?
Well, normally humans hatch from, like, these slimy pods, and we wriggle out as little pink larvae.
Oh, really? Huh, perhaps we have more in common than I thought.
I was punking you, dude. Or at least I will be in our next conversation. Thanks for the great prank idea.
Why would you trick me about that? What's even the point?
I don't know. It was just a friendly prank. Don't you ever play pranks? I mean, of course you do. One of you just tried to prank me good.
What? Who?
You'll find out.
Well, fine. I guess you got me back, sort of, for my trolling, even though you haven't read my worst trolling efforts yet, because they happen in your future. And even then, you didn't even mind much. Almost like you were delighted to hear it. Kind of perverse, really. What's wrong with you?
Well, we're friends by then, aren't we? Or sort of like reverse anti-mutual friends.
The hell does that even mean?
Look, you're gonna have to face it at some point. That you're learning the meaning of this human emotion called friendship.
Is friendship really an emotion?
Yes, absolutely.
I guess it's hard to see how we become friends. Every time I go further back into your past to talk to you, you say stuff that pertains to my immediate future. And then you won't explain to me what's going on because it's already old news for you.
Dude, you've been doing the exact same thing.
I've done no such thing. I've been exceptionally informative and helpful, if justifiably acrimonious.
I don't know what that word means, but I'm going to assume it's something about time.
You never answer my questions, though. How am I supposed to know what's going on or what you're alerting to?
This game is a kind of game of a million guides.
What? This game is a kind of game of a million guides. Oh, okay.
Everywhere you turn, there's another way to figure out what's going on. So please, go secrete me an Earth River through your strange human tear ducts. You've got sprites, exiles, guardians, consorts.
I don't think we've seen any consorts yet.
Time-hopping future selves, mystical dream oracle doppelgangers.
What? I mean, okay, we did see the time-hopping future selves. I guess... mystical dream or... oh, these are like the dream world bodies, okay. So am I supposed to know what the consorts are then? Sprites? I definitely know. The exiles are like the wandering traveler and stuff, right? The guardians or whatever just killed John in the bad future. I don't know. Anyway.
And if that wasn't enough, your particular group of players is lucky enough to have us to give you the scoop on stuff through a sort of subversion of the whole damn thing, even though we hate you. And even though the fact that we hate you is an immutable fact as unalterable as the writhing, knotted hell of a timeline choking us all to death. It does not mean we have any reason to withhold any information from you, or dish it out through crypto-baffling mindfuddlery. So go ahead, ask me anything. Okay? What's the point of the game?
Ask something else. I already told you that. It was a whole big conversation we had.
Ugh, fine. Where are you right now?
In the medium. Separate session from yours.
No, I know that. You already told me.
I did?
Yeah, in your future.
Damn it.
What I mean is, are you in your house right now, or in one of your magical lands, or what? Just curious, because you can see me, but I can't see or know anything about you.
We're hiding in the Veil. What's left of it.
What's that?
This huge belt of meteors orbiting outside Skya, beyond the orbit of the planets dividing the medium from the furthest ring, where Durs orbits.
Durs?
The dark planet. Prospects the light one near Skya.
Well, geez, how am I supposed to know any of this?
You probably find out sooner or later from your dumb grandma. But by fusing with the sprite, she had to withhold stuff and be mysterious and all, to make your adventure seem more magical. It's infuriating.
Okay.
Okay, so the Veil's a bunch of meteors? What do you mean, what's left of it?
Okay, there comes a time when black inevitably beats white on the battlefield in the center of Skya.
Oh. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. That kind of connects two dots for me. Because Jack Noir just means black, right? In French. Anyway.
The White King is captured or killed or something. That's when the reckoning starts.
Okay.
The rulers of Durs, the Black King and Queen, get the power to send the Veil towards Skya to destroy it. That's what kind of starts your big countdown when shit gets serious.
Okay.
So then, it's up to us to save it?
Yeah, you have that long to kill the Black Queen and King, and Skya itself sort of buys you some time. By activating its defense portals to catch some of the meteors. The threat gets bigger the longer you take, though. Smaller meteors come first, and they get progressively bigger and bigger. And there's only so much of them Skya can absorb for you.
Okay. So is that what this is? Like, I guess the trolls are talking to us from the future. So maybe because the kids started the game, like, they could have started the game after us. But now they're talking to us from the future. Was us starting Spurb this time? Are those meteors... Because we saw a meteor get absorbed in Skya, in Jade's dream, or whatever. So, are all the meteors that blew up Earth, and presumably Troll Planet, those are meteors from the attack that hasn't, or is currently happening? That hasn't yet happened or is currently happening to try to destroy Skya. And it's this whole big time loop thing. That sounds correct, given everything I've seen so far.
So it's up to us to save it?
Yeah, you have that line to kill the
Okay, I already read that, I think. Yeah.
Okay, but it sounds like we've got plenty of time before that happens, right?
That's just it. You don't. Ordinarily you would, but your reckoning starts much sooner because of some dumb things you've already done. You completely blew it already, and you have no chance of winning anymore, which ordinarily be fine. Just another bunch of losers to fail at this game. It's what you do later that causes so much more trouble than that, and now we have to deal with it too.
They're gonna save themselves by jumping into their game session or something.
Oh no, what is it?
Oh my goodness. These two voices together. They're gonna jump servers or something in order to survive, I think, probably. That makes some sense.
Oh no, what is it?
I already told you. It's inevitable and completely pointless to talk about anyway.
Yeah, well, maybe you're wrong. Maybe there's something we can still do to stop it if you just help us.
I'm not wrong. It's all right here in front of me, you fuck up royally. End of story.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see about that, Mr. Sour Bulge. Hey, aren't you kind of uncomfortable sitting on a meteor? Are you all huddled up in a crater or something?
No, there's all kinds of crazy shit in the Vale. A lot of these meteors are like big seeds.
That makes sense.
Seeds? Well, what kind of crazy shit is there?
Stuff like buildings, facilities, like labs and stuff.
Oh, because you seed a game. Is it? Is this like a big torrenting metaphor? I don't know. Anyway.
Weird.
Yeah, the Vale's kind of like neutral ground for the kingdoms, like our planets. Some places are used to genetically engineer soldiers and agents for the two sides, using the genetic material from the exotic menagerie of chess pieces on the battlefield to help fuel the war and keep raising the stakes.
Wow, I don't feel like I'm following this.
Yeah, no shit, but you'll find out when you get there. Since you were in the Vale when we last talked. Anyway, there's more than enough info for you to talk about, and be less stupid in time for conversations we've already had. I'm out of here.
Okay, but wait. Can you give a message to GC for me? Tell her, nice try.
What? Why would I give her a message for you? Do it yourself. I'm not a relay service.
Oh, well, I thought you'd be cool with it since you asked me to give her a message for you last time, but whatever.
I find that highly implausible. I'm not falling for any more of your human pranks. Nice try, John.
Okay. Jack, ascend. Wait, what? Jack? It's Jack Black. Wait, I know this song. Huh? Well, now I'm scared. Hey, it's the planets. I know those. Hey, it's the Vale. We just learned about that. Okay. Dark Planet returns. Okay. Is he just gonna go kill the Black Queen? What happens then? Oh, jeez. Oh, now they got swords through them. Awesome. Ba 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 ba. Wear the hat, Jack. Rose, are you meow meow. What? Oh, is the Jaspers is trying to wake her up? What? How is that possible? Wait, Maplehoof survived. They are. What? They are involved. Okay. What was in the package? Is it a katana? He did it. What is happening? Whoa. Oh, the wings from the bird. That makes sense. I was like, why the wings? End of year 1. Woo! Oh, we get like a little recap? That's nice. No, we don't. Okay. I feel like this is another one of these big ones, sort of. What was in the package that could just annihilate the Black Queen? I have no idea. I'm assuming that... Okay, if Midnight Crew... Like, I mean... I'll turn the sound off after, and then I'll just talk about it. Assuming that that means Midnight Crew is canon to this universe, in some sense, then, Snowball, that was her name, is probably, like, the Black Queen of the future? Or something like that? Or in the far past? I'm not really sure which one. Well, no, Jack Spade Slick, whatever, has both arms, right? So it has to be... Well, he could have been shattered across time. I don't know. It's, like, impossible to tell. But, assuming it is canon, then, like, Snowball is the Black Queen in the future. So perhaps, like... Perhaps the Midnight Crew portion occurs on Earth after it's been resettled by the Exiles. That would be my thought, right? Maybe? I don't know. I really don't know. I will not wear the dress. I'm gonna turn the sound back on because I want to see this again. Tears off the jester cloak he was kind of wearing. Right, this is the part I really wanted to see some more of. So the secret that Jasper's told her was about Durst in the dream world. And the parents are like parent figures are like paving the way for us? I don't know how that works. Yeah. Wait. He was missing an arm in that silhouette. I think the queens, and they were missing arms as well, right? Which means that something has transmitted a missing arm to the person who wears the ring? So... Rose's is the tentacles from the doll and the cat's stuff from Jasper's. Dave's is the sword through the chest and the bird features, despite the fact that Dave also prototyped himself, so technically Dave should be part of the... Oh no, maybe that gives him time powers. I never really thought of that. That could also explain how Jack Noir becomes Spade Slick. And why the Black Queen... Why Snowball has, like, time... Like, if you kill Snowball, then the timeline explodes or whatever. That also kind of makes sense. And then... John's is Jester's and Grandma. Does that mean, like, Grandma lost an arm or something? No, it was from the Jester doll, wasn't it? The Jester doll, like, an arm fell off of it. Like, we stuck the arms on and one of them fell off. Right? I think that's where it came from. Wow, that is a buried memory deep in my mind. That was so long ago. But yeah, that sounds right. I think that's true. I'd love to just end the episode there, but it's only been 20 minutes, so we're going to keep going and locate the fourth wall. Homestuck Volume 4, the album. Nice. Speaking of fourth wall, nope, nothing to click there. Activate. Huh? Now, I only know what this sprite is supposed to represent because I listened to a song for the Toby Fox ranking video that was called, like, Andrew Hussey's theme or whatever. Okay, yeah. AH, I wonder what that could mean. Engage in highly indulgent self-insertion into story. What? Oh, hell no. It's always such a terrible idea. Leave me alone. Good idea. Examine wall. Wow, a sword with wings. You really wish your side of the wall had an off switch, which is to say, I really wish my side of the wall had an off switch. Forget it. Go back to work. Okay, you're just going to ask me to recap Homestuck, though. I don't know why I'd sit there and watch me type. This is going to be pretty long. Oh, so we are going to recap. Recap the first year of Homestuck. Homestuck began... Oh my gosh, there's... Okay, this is probably our future boy Scarlet. Very funny. These probably take you to the pages that are being talked about. Homestuck began on April 13th, 2009, the 13th birthday of our chief protagonist and future boy Skylark, John Egbert. 3 days prior was supposed to be the date he received the Spurb beta in the mail, but it was running late. Showed up later that afternoon, and after overcoming a variety of domestic adversaries, he retrieved the game along with a birthday package from his internet friend, Dave Strider. John soon established a game connection with another friend, Rose Lalonde, who spent the day badgering him about playing with her after unsuccessfully attempting to convince Dave to play. Upon connecting, Rose was able to manipulate John's environment, move his furniture around via a cursor, and restructure the shape of his room. John was unable to do this to Rose's environment, however. He'd installed a client copy of the beta, and a server copy was required for that. The server copy was trapped in his dad's car, along with a birthday package from another friend, Jade Harley. Jade messaged John inquiring about the package. As of this moment, neither her package nor the server copy have been recovered by John. Rose had also prepared a package for John, but had not mailed it yet. It still sits in her room. Dave's package contained the authentic stuffed bunny from Con Air. This is probably hugely long, but I will continue reading because it might remind me of things I've forgotten. In addition to allowing Rose to control John's environment, Spurb provided an array of devices Rose deployed throughout John's house. These devices used together provided a system by which the players could manufacture any item using the code on the back of the item's capture log card, if they gathered enough grist to pay for it. Later they would learn to combine item codes and master the art of punch card alchemy, whereby items could be fused together in purpose and design. One device, on being activated, began a countdown and released an entity called a kernel sprite. The countdown ticked down to the moment John's house would be struck by a meteor, destroying his neighborhood. To escape this demise, John had to use the devices to manufacture a special item that looked like a blue apple and take a bite of it, in order to transport his entire house just before the impact to the safety of a mysterious dark realm, where his house would situate itself atop a tall rock column high above a blanket of clouds. This realm is called the Medium. Before he entered the Medium, though, John and Rose prototyped his kernel sprite with the large Harlequin doll his dad got him for his birthday. Transforming the sprite... hold on, maybe I can see if the doll is... Yeah, he does have... Okay. That's also where the scar comes from. Oh my gosh. That was so long ago. I don't blame myself for not remembering that. Anyway. Likeness, including... transforming the sprite to bear its likeness, including the ways the doll was disfigured via earlier hijinks, had a slashed eye and one arm. And so too did the sprite. Does the grandma sprite only have one arm? I guess that's what this arm is supposed to represent. I thought it was just saying hello. Anyway, or like saluting. I don't know. Slashed eye, and so did the sprite. When John entered the medium, the sprite's kernel hatched. Thus, properties of the sprite, the lesser adversaries John Thus, imbuing all of the enemies John and his friends would face with properties of the sprite. The lesser adversaries John faced first, Shale Imps, all wore Harlequin garbs. They became more powerful and more radically mutated with each successive pre-medium prototyping. But the Imps do not gain that. They only gain, like, the outfit. They do not gain the slashed eye or the missing arm, which I guess is probably why I so quickly forgot about it. After entering the medium, John's dad was kidnapped by imps. While John was looking for him, he accidentally prototyped the sprite with his grandmother's ashes, transforming it again. This prototyping had no effect on the enemies, since he was already in the medium, and the kernel had already hatched. Right, of course. Instead, only in the media... Wait. Only the sprite was affected, and it took on the appearance, personality, and memories of his grandmother, becoming Nana Sprite. A Gabe supplied, albeit a customized guide for John. She explained aspects of the game about Skya residing at the center of the medium, beyond 7 gates floating directly above his house, and about an eternal timeless war fought there between dark and light. One that light was always destined to lose, yes. Rose, who had been having frequent internet connection issues, lost her connection as she tried to lift John's car to retrieve the game and package. The car fell into the abyss below. A storm caused her house to lose power, along with its wireless internet connection. No! Her laptop was able to run on battery power for a time, while she tapped into the wireless signal from the laboratory next door. Conveniently placed laboratory. When her laptop ran out of power, she had to overcome more family strife and endure a gift pony in the process. Is this going to be the funny one? No. I have to click on like a horseshoe to get that to happen. I don't see it. I don't remember how to do that. Anyway, yep. Gift pony, okay. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Was that what that joke was supposed to be this whole time? Anyway, go outside in the rain and plug it into the small generator outside the mausoleum for her dead cat Jaspers. She continued her session with John inside the mausoleum while the meteor-sparked forest fire surrounding her house grew more intense. So, Rose Mom probably kept Jaspers around for a good reason, and it wasn't all just to play a mean prank on Rose. From the house, Rose's mom opened a secret passage in the mausoleum to help her escape. The passage led to the lab next door, where Rose found a stable, portable source of power and internet for her computer. She also found a terminal projecting the impact times and locations for the millions of meteors presently bombarding the planet, along with all the other live sessions of other players around the world. She also found a little girl's room, a mutant kitten she named Vodka Mutini, I forgot that was its name, and a cloning machine operating through the science of ectobiology. Wow, I never even thought of that. Okay. Interesting. Its terminal was locked onto her cat, Jaspers, at whatever point in his life the user specified. Alright. She attempted to purify Jaspers from a moment in her early childhood before he whispered a secret to her, but doing so would have caused a paradox, so it paradoxified a pile of slime instead. The machine used the slime to create a fetal paradox clone of Jaspers in the glass tube. On the monitor, Jaspers then told young Rose the secret, then vanished, only to show up dead weeks later and put in the mausoleum for years until the present. Rose left the laboratory moments before it was destroyed by a meteorite impact. She transportalized back to her mom's room. Is that where she was? Is that where she's still... This is her mom's room. This was your mom's room, at least what you thought was your mom's room. Decided not to be especially melodramatic. Okay, I was more worried about the meteors. I totally forgot, like I just glanced by that. I guess if I was told that my daughter was going to be a super secret space warrior that was supposed to save the world but was doomed to fail, I would also probably turn to drinking. Or, you know, clowns like Sean's dad. Rose left the laboratory moments before it was destroyed. Yeah, okay. To her mom's room, proceeded to her room to wait for Dave to connect with her and rescue her from the next imminent impact. Dave was charged with acquiring his bro's copy of the game to help Rose. Earlier, he had lost his copy of the game to a mishap involving a crow. Yeah. It flew in his window, seized the game, and Dave accidentally impaled it with a sword, sending the crow and the game out the window onto a landing far below his apartment. So that wasn't the street? That was a landing? Okay. Does it, like, zoom out more? Yeah, it does. It does. I don't know why I thought that was the street. I got it in my head it was the street, and obviously I didn't go back to that page to check. He searched his bro's room, unable to find it, was briefly shadowed by a little Cal, and then found a note beckoning him to meet on the roof for a confrontation. Dave and his bro dueled on the roof extensively. Dave was thoroughly bested. Upon defeating Dave, his bro dropped the copies of the game and flew off on his rocket board into the sky. Goodbye. Dave used the copies to connect with Rose and quickly deployed the devices while her house was on fire, surrounded by flaming tornadoes. Yeah, as you do. minutes away from being destroyed by a meteor. Rose prototyped her Colonel Sprite with Jasper specifically to understand the meaning of the secret he whispered to her years ago. She was advised to do this by Jade, who told her about the game in the first place. Dave then prototyped the Colonel Sprite again. What? Oh, with the tentacled princess doll given to Rose on her birthday by her mom. Both of these prototypings would have an effect on the enemies once Rose entered the medium and the Colonel hatched. Rose used the alchemitor to create the special item for her, a purple wine bottle, which she needed to break to enter. She eventually did, transporting her house just before the meteor collided. I didn't even see Dave do that. That's in that crazy animated section that has so much going on in it. Like the split screens and everything. Dave probably did that in one of those, and I missed it. But it makes sense. I just assumed that, like, it happened at some point, because obviously they've got the doll parts, and I think the text specifically says it was prototyped with a doll at some point. Which, like, 2 dolls in there, and no doll no doll attributes on any of the enemies. Crazy. Right. The meteor left a crater. Over time, the site of the impact, a large white structure that looked like a wine bottle, grew there. The crater filled up with sand, and as the climate of the post-apocalyptic Earth gradually changed. The cork of that bottle was a large metal cylinder with an interior much like an advanced science station, with a variety of devices and monitors inside. 413 years. That is very specific. I don't think we were given a specific number before. The wayward vagabond walked through the desert and discovered the station. Inside, he found canned rations. A firefly he named Serenity. I was trying to remember the firefly's name, thank you. And a purifier and 4 monitors hooked up to a keyboard. So after what we just learned with the veil, this lab was probably inside the meteor and, like, grew because the Carcat called it, like, seeds. So, that's crazy. You know what? No, that doesn't make sense. I was going to say, I bet you that the items that they have to purify to, or not purify, use the alchemitor to get, you know what I mean, the totem lathe. The items they have to smash to get into the medium, I bet you those are the seeds, but that doesn't really make sense. It's probably from the meteors. One of the monitors was John, just after he'd entered the medium. Mr. Mayor, I'm just going to use my... I never remember all the acronyms. Could type commands to John directly, much as the readers of this story could type commands for the characters to follow. Crazy. Most of John's actions upon entering the medium were authored by Mr. Mayor until he became preoccupied with other activities such as building a town out of cans, playing chess with cans, drawing chalk murals depicting the cosmological arrangements of Skya, the medium, and the light and dark planets known as Prospid and Durst. I don't remember Prospid and Durst being there. They probably were. And the 4 planets the kids would each occupy upon entering the game, called the Land of Wind and Shade, the Land of Light and Rain, the Land of Heat and Clockwork, and Jade's Planet, which is yet to be seen. Cool. Good job, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor was important. Okay. He also activated a countdown in the station which caused it to blast out of the crater and fly to the designated home coordinates. Along the way, it passed over the sand-filled crater that was the impact site for John's meteor. On the other side of the continent, John's meteor caused a giant white tree to grow from the crater. The tree grew an apple-like station from a branch, which fell to the sand. The peregrine mendicant got the extra N. Found the station. After Mail Lady flew overhead, PM activated PM? Oh, right, that's her acronym. See what I mean? I didn't even know who that was. Okay. Mail Lady activated her station's homing feature as well, which caused it to fly to the same destination. Along the way, she used her terminal to attempt to command Jade, who, from the perspective of the terminal, had just arrived in the medium. Oh, I kind of want to go back and see that. Hold on, can I go back a page? Yeah, she's being... Is this from the bad timeline? Is she being annihilated by a meteor right now? I mean, it seems like it's probably more than that, but we'll see. Yeah. Where are we? Command Jade, who from the arrived at the medium. This caused the terminal to explode for unknown reasons, leaving a hole in the station. One of the station's robotic worms recovered one of Mail Lady's falling mailboxes, and she befriended it, after earlier slaying another one with her black Regisword. Okay, so now I know what that's called. Makes sense, because, you know, Regicide, it's supposed to kill the queen or king. Is that what's in the green package, then? No, because... Assumedly... Mail Lady gets it from the judge, like the caution tape fella. Because caution tape fella has the sword right now, right? Unless it's like mass produced, which is possible. But then why would they all be called Regisword? Oh, it does say with her black Regisword, which would assume that there's like more than one. Okay, anyway. Mr. Mayor landed on the site of the ancient frog ruins across the now dried up Pacific Ocean. The site was once the island where Jade lived, but nothing of the island remained except for the ruins. That's not entirely true. There was a lot of junk that she left in them, but yeah. The mountain her house was on and the volcano next to it were replaced by a large empty chasm. I wonder why. Mail Lady landed shortly after Mr. Mayor, and they met. They were confronted by the aimless renegade, who fired at them from the frog ruins with old weaponry he'd been hoarding once belonging to Jade's grandpa. Millions of years ago, the frog ruins grew from a crater. Oh! I thought this was just... Oh, okay, well, we can't watch the whole thing. I thought that was just symbolizing, like, people building it over time, like, over years even. But no, it literally grew from there. So that is from the Veil as well, and, like, Skya. Crazy, okay. Struck by a meteor that emerged from a spurred portal in space. Jade's radioactive, omnipotent, space-warping dog named Becquerel emerged from this crater as well. What? Right, okay, millions of years ago, the ruins grew, right. So they didn't grow at the same time as, like, the tree and all of that. The frog ruins grew in the past when it's all happened before, you know? Okay. Becquerel emerged from this crater as well. Is this going to be the same thing? No. Oh, this is this one. I like this song, but I don't want to listen to it. Becquerel emerged from the crater not at the same time, though, right? Maybe? Is Becquerel millions of years old? I didn't get that from seeing that either. Anyway, Jade's grandpa pioneered this island and built the house Jade lives in. Her grandpa's been dead for many years and stands stuffed in front of the fireplace. She's been looked after by her dog, who she calls Beck. She begins the day with several tasks to accomplish. Feed Beck, retrieve birthday package mailed by John. She irradiates a stake and heads outside to the site where the package will be dropped. She knows it will be dropped there because one of the reminders she wears on her fingers jogs her memory about it. She wears them to keep track of the many things she knows about the future through dreams. Okay. So Jade's future-telling power is because of the little visions she sees in Skya. Or Prospect, but it's the Skya dimension, you know what I mean. I think she probably sees the future when it dips into Skya, right? So that means... Oh, also, I'm about to talk about the same thing I said before. That Jade's future-telling powers could be her, like, Dave can go through time thing. But apparently not, because she's the Witch of Space. Which I don't know what that means. Like, obviously, space and time are the, like, two... frameworks of the universe, I guess you could say. And then John is air, which I guess is kind of like life. It's breath, literally, so it's like life. And then Rose... What's Rose's again? Seer of light. Light. Yeah, okay, so they're like the makeup of the universe. Sort of. Who's antimatter? Giratina is just gonna pop out. That makes sense. But what space powers could she have? Can she, like, teleport and she doesn't know it yet? That's possible. Right. She falls asleep frequently and spontaneously. We call that narcolepsy. When she sleeps, her dream self is awake and living on the moon that orbits the light planet Prospect. Right, I forgot. She's not even on Prospect, technically. Prospect very closely orbits Skya, a huge sphere of blue sky and clouds, which Nana describes, oh, come on, at least capitalize it, as a dormant crucible of unlimited creative potential. When Prospect's moon eclipses Skya, it drifts into Skya for a time, mingling with the clouds. Dream Jade then witnesses many past and future events in the clouds. While asleep, she is often confused about what is real and what isn't. When she wakes up, she pieces together future events from her memory of the cloud visions and from logs recorded by her Dreambot. Her Dreambot is a robotic surrogate that activates while she sleeps on her bed. It mimics in the real world the movement and actions of her dream self on the moon and records a video log of what she sees while dreaming. I kind of want to see this again now. I guess we're gonna do it. Here, I'll just turn the sound way down. The only annoying part is I wish I could just, like, skip around. Yeah, okay. Okay, show me the visions. That's what I'm here to see. Come on. Okay, there's one. Okay, that's just space. John at home. Okay, we know that. A squiddle. Okay, Jade's own house. John in the medium. Rose's house on fire. Okay. The tree in the future. I think that's Dave when he's about to fight Bro. Okay, this is the future or the past? I think it's the past. It's the past before the meteorite hit. Okay, and that's a meteorite going through Skaya's protective barrier, right? And then it just just launches it into Earth in the past. Oh no, Becquerel does come right out of there. I was so confused about the timeline at this point that I wasn't even sure. Oh, so that little sprite is the seed that's going to form the temple later. Okay. Then we get the Who's That Pokemon scene. I think there is a little bit more. Okay, now this is just John remembering things that are in his life. What is flashing? It's hard to make out. I think it's just clouds. Okay. Well, there you go. You got me to watch that again. So okay, that was in the dream world though. That was on like, okay, no, but it was in Skya. So Jade was dreaming about the past. And she saw Becquerel being born, I guess. Okay. I think I got that now. Okay. Prospit's moon has 2 towers of identical design and similar design to Jade's house. Dream Jade lives in one tower. Dream John lives in the other. Dream John is still asleep, and John has no knowledge of the dream world, which is to say the entire game session he would initiate on his 13th birthday. When he goes to sleep, instead of waking up on the moon as Jade does, he remains slumbering in his dream room, tormented by his subconscious. This torment is expressed when he sleepwalks, and draws troubling scribbles on the walls of his room. When awake, he cannot see the scribbles, as his subconscious, I think, suppresses his awareness of them. It is not until he has a perception-altering revelation about his dad does he begin to see them. He initially believed they were new additions to his room, perhaps scrawled by imps. However, they were present long before, visible in his room while he prepared Jade's birthday package months ago. Yeah, so I totally missed this too because I was not paying attention for it. But John's been drawing little gestures and stuff all over his room for so long. Oh, jeez. I wonder what Dad thinks when he sees that. John prepared a package for each of his 3 friends, whose 13th birthdays were December 1st for Jade, 3rd for Dave, and 4th for Rose. Wait, they're all in sequence? I remember John saying they were close together, but I don't remember him saying they were like literally like not even a day, like literally one day apart. That's pretty crazy. I guess that's one way to never lose track of them when you're making a story. He gave Rose a knitting set, and she then took an intense interest in knitting. He gave Dave the pair of shades Ben Stiller wore in Starsky and Hutch, which he wore from then on, replacing the shades in the style his bro wore. He gave Jade a blue version of his own ghost shirt and some pumpkin seeds to help her replace the pumpkins that kept disappearing from her garden. But she did not receive this on the birthday John intended. She received it in the past, on her birthday when she was very young, causing her to take an interest in gardening in the first place, to take a likening to blue apparel, and to eventually befriend John over the internet and lead him, Rose, and Dave down a path where they would ultimately play this game together. Yeah. Jade did retrieve his package in the present as planned, but immediately took it to another location where it disappeared. Mr. May in the far future purified it from the location on accident. The package contained further instructions for him. He was to bring it to Mail Lady, and she was to use her station's sendificator, nice, to send it to another place in time. After she did this, the package appeared in front of young Jade on her birthday. Jade orchestrated the sequence of events through knowledge of them in her cloud visions. She orchestrated similar events for the package she sent to John, plotting the circuitous, like in a circuit, route through time and space it was meant to follow. She again utilized the exiles for help while they were still in the medium. The exiles, Mr. Mayor, Mail Lady, and the judge were all formerly agents of the kingdoms before they were exiled by some means to the post-apocalyptic Earth. The judge, as an authority regulator in the land of wind and shade, discovered the package and the beta copy in John's wrecked car, and he gave it a parking ticket. Mail Lady, working as a parcel mistress, PM, parcel mistress, AR, authority regulator, aimless... How did I just realize this? So what is Mr. Mayor's job gonna be? Okay. Anyway, I don't know how you could spin W and V into something. I don't know. Delivered it... Okay, hold on. Mail Lady, working as a parcel mistress, recognized the passage from a correspondence she had with Jade on Prospect some time ago. Oh, and recalled it must have been delivered to John. That's why she looks familiar. Okay. The judge would not relinquish the package, though he did give her the beta, which she delivered into a Pixis to satisfy the carved request of a mini tablet. John carved this tablet at the request of Mail Lady through the command terminal in the future. The judge brought the package to Durst, where it ultimately wound up on the desk of Jack Noir. Jack is the arch-agent of the Dark Kingdom, charged with overseeing affairs through the office's fenestrated wall portals. Fenestrated means window. Windowed, I guess. And processing paperwork. He is forced to wear a silly garment, in keeping with prototyping themes by the Black Queen, in order he resentfully complies with. He oversaw the imprisonment of John's dad, who broke loose on multiple occasions. When Jack went to handle it personally, John's dad set Jack's hat on fire. In a surly act of gratitude, he released the prisoner. John's dad fled to the land of wind and shade, fought large monsters, got his hat dirty, and lost a shoe. Okay. He then carved tablet requests for new ones, which John filled via Pixis, unaware of who requested them. We did do that. That's funny. So this is in something... that's in the thing we just saw. Okay. So we could reunite with Dad. Reunite with your loving father. I'm expecting it to come soon. Mail Lady followed the judge to Durst in hopes of retrieving the package. After wandering around, she encountered the Black Queen on her throne. Both the Light and Dark Kingdoms each have a king and queen. The queen sat on their throne, on Prospect and Durst respectively, ruling the planet, not ruining it. The kings command armies on the battlefield located at the center of Skya. The queen takes on the attributes supplied by the prototypings due to the 4-orbed rings she wears. Of course, that's why it's 4-orbed, I understand. When the ring is removed, the queen is restored to normal. Mail Lady showed the BQ. The Black Queen, okay. I can't do it. The Black Queen, a parking ticket she was pretending to deliver. The Black Queen directed her to Jack's office, where the ticket would be filed. Mail Lady met Jack and asked for the package. Jack proposed a deal, and gave her a black regisword. If she would kill the White Queen and White King and bring him their crowns, he would give her the package. She accepted with little alternative, then visited the White Queen on Prospect and explained the situation with no intention of carrying out Jack's mission. The White Queen, understanding the futility of their situation and the need to recover the package, abdicated and gave the Mail Lady her crown and ring. That must be bad, right? Because it means that the black... Well, now the Black Queen also doesn't have it. So are the imps going to go back to normal? Or no? Maybe? I don't know. I actually don't know. That's interesting. Male Lady was instructed to go find the White King, retrieve his crown, and receive further instruction on what to do with the ring to protect it. White Queen would then eventually exile herself to the post-apocalyptic Earth. Okay. On post-apocalypse Earth, after the judge fired on White Queen and Male Lady from the Ruins, everyone's going to have this little acronym name, and then there's going to be White Queen, who's just... Oh, no. Wandering Vagabond. Oh, God, that's going to be so annoying. So, fired on Mr. Mayor and Male Lady from the Ruins. He spotted Mr. Mayor's pumpkin, which he had carved earlier, purified from Jade's house. Which... He had earlier purified from Jade's house. The carving thing is here. He recognized the carving of Beck's silhouette on the pumpkin. Fearful of it, he surrendered. The three exiles soon became friends over a campfire and shared rations. Mr. Mayor and the judge built Exile Town out of cans, mailboxes, and bullets. Mail Lady operated Mr. Mayor's station terminal to submit commands to John as he explored the land of wind and shade. In the sky, another station teleported and fell to the ground. It was shaped like an egg and had originated from Dave's meteor impact site. It's in correspondence with the egg-shaped item he would use to enter the medium. Emerging from the station was the windswept Questant. Okay, the White Queen. Formerly the White Queen. The judge and the mayor sought to impress the White Queen by crafting a crown for her out of a mailbox. She refused the distinction, instead giving it to Mail Lady, who had successfully completed her mission to deliver Jade's package to John in the distant past. The means by which she went about this have yet to be seen. John entered the land of wind and shade, Loas. Oh god, we're gonna have another one? Oh man. By having Rose build up his house to the first gate, fighting through many imps and ogres with his powerful new alchemized weapons, and entering the gate. This took him to the location beneath the clouds, far below his house. The Loas turned out to be a large windy planet. Crazy, I can't believe the land of wind and shade was a large windy planet. Filled with dark terrain, incandescent trees, networks of pipes, and oily rivers. In addition to hosting more powerful adversaries, the land was occupied by friendly consorts. Oh, that's what the consorts are. Okay. A race of salamanders. They help John understand the mythos of the land and inform him of the planet's persecution by a sleeping denizen, which is responsible for clogging the pipes with oil and trapping fireflies under the clouds. So the consorts are like NPCs. Gotcha. Each planet is a sleeping denizen, which the player must first wake and then kill in the course of their journey through the Seven Gates. Rose's planet, the land of light and rain, Lalar, is a multicolored ocean planet with white sandy islands and pink ruins, and has a denizen responsible for killing all life in the water. Okay. Dave's planet, the land of heat and clockwork, Lock, is a lava planet covered in industrial steel frame structures and turning gears, and has a denizen of yet unknown qualities. Killing the denizen releases a huge grist horde buried at the core of the planet, which is then used to fuel a process known as the ultimate alchemy. Along the way, the kids are meant to learn about their destined roles in this quest as the Heir of Breath, Seer of Light, Knight of Time, and Witch of Space. Why is space not capitalized? It's the Witch of the Space Bar. Over the course of their quest, the Dark Kingdom will inevitably defeat the Light Kingdom. The Black Queen and King will take control and initiate the Reckoning. This affects a belt of meteors called the Veil, which orbits far from Skya. Between the four planets and Durst, and is host to various lab facilities used by the kingdoms. The Reckoning causes the meteors to descend on Skya, ultimately destroying it unless the Black Queen and King can be defeated in time. Skya, however, buys time by opening defense portals to catch many of the meteors, redirecting them elsewhere in space and time. This is the generic template for the way the game is supposed to proceed. It can deviate from this model, however, depending on the actions of the players, and the details of the game mythology presented is unique to each group of players in their session. Okay. Oh, the trolls have completed it? I skipped ahead. That was my bad. Long before John and his friends started playing the game, another group of players have been persistently trolling them, particularly Jade. They were furious about an action she will take that will cause major problems for the four kids' game session and inevitably lead to their defeat. Specifically, Jade will send a package to John, apparently containing a powerful weapon he will need later, but the package winds up in the hands of Jack Noir, leading to dire consequences. They allude to other things she will do that will lead not only to trouble for the four kids, but to the troll players as well. So, Jack Noir ending up with whatever she sent is what ruins the game session. Because Jack's gonna... Not only did Jack kill the Black Queen, but assumedly he's gonna go kill all the other ones, right? And steal their powers? Oh my goodness. Okay. The trolls consist of 12 kids from an alien planet who went through the same process as John and his friends, escaping from the annihilation of their planet via meteors and into the medium to play the game. Their game session is entirely separate from that of the four kids, has the same basic template, with its own Skya, Prospit, Durst, Vale, and the planet for each troll. That's a big solar system. But separate game instances of these. They also have different instances of the same character templates, such as the kings and queens and agents like Jack Noir. So there's 2 Jack Noirs? Great. There's probably more than 2. The trolls have completed their game session with yet unknown results. They now reside in a meteor in their Vale, sitting at terminals trolling John and Co. from their terminals. They can choose any point in the past or future of the kids to troll, and observe what they're doing in that moment. As a group, their only stated objective is to harass the kids, which they do so haphazardly through different points in the kids' timeline. Though they can choose any point in the kids' timeline to talk, they are mostly resigned to the understanding that no matter what they do, they can't change the outcome of the kids' actions. The 4 most vociferous trolls so far have been Carcinogeneticist, which is Carcat, Gallows Calibrator, which is the one that trolled us, actually, Grim Exiliatrix, who I think is the one who I gave a funny voice to, that is just going to stick, and Adios Toreador, which is the bull one. The other 8 being Apocalypse Arisen, Twin Armageddons, Arsenic Catnip, Arachnid's Grip, Centaur's Testicle, awesome, Terminally Capricious, Caligula's Aquarium, and Cuttlefish Color. Each yet to be heard from. Why do they all have, like, C's in them? I'm sure there's a reason, but it's really annoying. Carcinogeneticist appears to have spearheaded the group's trolling campaign. While he was in the thick of his game session, the exile commanding him from a terminal in the apocalyptic future was Spade Slick. That's true. We did see that. Okay. Wait, so Spade Slick is an exile. Does that mean the Midnight Crew are a group? No, because there should be 2 white ones, right? Unless there is no Prospit in the troll dimension. Well, Prospit probably got exploded, right? Or, like, destroyed at least, because white inevitably loses? So, if Spade Slick is in exile, does that mean that the Midnight Crew were the exiles in the troll world? The troll game session? And that's why they look... that's why they look the exact same. Because there's multiple instances of Jack Noir. Spade Slick is just a different instance of Jack Noir. He is the outcome of Jack Noir if the thing doesn't mess up and give him the ultimate weapon. He gets exiled by the queen for not wearing the right clothes. That makes sense. Okay. This is one difference between his game session and John's, who has Mr. Mayor as an exile commanding him. In GC's session, his version of Jack Noir became exiled along the way. Took on the new name Spade Slick. 3 other agents were exiled, and the 4 of them formed a gang called the Midnight Crew. Spent years building up a dark city with the future wasteland of the Trolls' dead planet. Right, okay, that makes sense. I just realized there's 12 trolls, so if there's an exile for each of the kids, there should be an exile for each of the trolls, right? So it doesn't matter that all of them are from Durst. There's probably, like, 8 more of them that we haven't seen yet. Well, okay, Snowball's one of them, assumedly. But whatever, okay. Snowman. Why did I say Snowball? Another difference in the Trolls session is that at some point along the way, the Black Queen was also exiled, later joined a rival gang called the Felt, assuming special powers that make her highly inadvisable to kill and came to be known as Snowman. It was until Slick confronted the Felt in their mansion that he discovered the station terminal to command CG, and not before Snowman blinded him in one eye, severed his arm, and locked him in a vault. Okay. Each troll had a different trolling strategy and a different rhythm by which they hopped around the kids' timelines to chat with them. Carcat's strategy, I'm just going to call him Carcat, for the most part was to begin trolling them at the very end of their adventure, the moment at which he was most angry with their actions, and then gradually work backwards, mostly talking to John. This proves to be mutually frustrating, though, as John knows less and less about the situation the further into the past Carcat goes. Similarly, further into the future John progresses, the more he has the advantage over Carcat by knowledge of his future conversations with him, and vice versa. Over the course of the opposing directions of the 2 sides of the conversation, John learns more about the nature of the game and why they're being trolled, and in spite of hostility, they gradually befriend each other through an inevitability alluded to on both sides of the conversation. Early in correspondence between John and CG, Carcat, I think, which is to say, late for CG, CG discovers he needs to get in touch with Jade, who refuses to talk to him in an important time period. She delivers a message to her much earlier, months in the past. I getcha. Telling her she needs to contact him when she's in trouble. She will know what to do this when her dreambot explodes in the future, an outcome that has not yet happened. Two other trolls, Grim Exiliatrix and Adios Toreador, have targeted only Rose and Dave thus far. GA has hopped arbitrarily back and forward in Rose's timeline to talk to her, and is attempting to cultivate a friendship with her that now seems rigged through a series of conversational time loops. While seeking counsel from Dave on how to befriend her, Adios Toreador sought counsel from Rose on how to troll Dave more effectively. After getting severely counter-trolled by him, he was under the impression he rebounded nicely, though. Poor guy. Gallows Calibrator, GC, has stayed mostly linear in her trolling patterns and has done so under the guise of helping the kids on their quest. She convinces John to take a shortcut through his land, shows him the Denizen's Palace, leads him to a warp, back to his house, shows him how to fix the faulty rocket pack, made through an alchemy mishap, tells him to use the rocket pack to fly to the 7th gate, enter the Denizen's Palace, kill it in its sleep. He complied with this and flew through the 7th gate, in spite of reservations from Dave, who had just entered the medium the moment before John took off. GC also assisted Rose just after she bested an ogre with ease. She counseled her on understanding her role as the Seer of Light, and the meaning of the voice in her head as an exile issuing commands from a terminal. What? And the meaning of the voice. Okay, not as the voice. So I was like, how can GC be an exile? Okay, in her case, it was the exiled White Queen issuing commands from an egg-shaped station in the future. Right. Since Dave is Rose's server player, the terminal station from Dave's impact site issues commands to Rose. Okay, that makes sense. Just as the station at Rose's site, which WV, or Mr. Mayor found, issues commands to John, her client player. After conversing with GA, Rose found Jasper Sprite and interrogated him about the secret which she found so maddeningly mysterious years ago. Explained elements of the mythos to her land and how she needed to learn to play the rain to produce musical analog of the genetic code and reintroduce life into the ocean. In response to her question about his secret, he simply replied, meow. She mistook this for more nonsense, but it was in fact the secret he told her years ago. The four-letter sequence meow unlocked a genetic code in her subconscious, which she would then spend years scrawling on her wall using the letters in place of the typical GCAT letters. Right. Okay. That's like, what are those called? Dino something. It's the proteins in DNA, okay? While completely oblivious to the scrawlings and their meaning just as John was. As Jasper said, she would understand their meaning when her dream self wakes up. Rose's dream self lives in a tower on the moon of Durst. Dave's dream self lives on the same moon in the other tower. It was suggested that by Rose's future self, who was fully awake in the tower, that Dave had already been awake in his tower all along without realizing it. This was suggested in a conversation she had in the future with Dave. It's an alternative future timeline, not meant to be. This future timeline came about by a series of events. Okay. This is rather recent. Dave was able to enter the medium by connecting with Jade. As a server player, Jade got copies of the game from the Frog Ruins. She snuck into the ruins while Beck was asleep and retrieved the game from a Lotus time capsule which had been taken down for millions of years. The game was Dave's copy from the future, the same one that fell out the window with the impaled crow. When she got the game, the time capsule started ticking down again, set to expire 413 years later when the exiles are there. She dropped some of her items in the ruins, leaving them there for AR to find, and leaving her base gem in the elevator. Beck then found her there, took her back to her room, and grounded her for the rest of the evening. So what are the exiles going to get from that? It's just going to be like a nuke, you know? Everyone's going to die. She quickly helped Dave set up the game, upgrading his alchemitor heavily and crafting the special item he needed to enter the medium, a red egg, which needed to be incubated and hatched to activate. I've probably been talking for like a long time. It's already an hour, Jesus. Slowly incubated for hours, it was a very large meteor, was soon bearing down on the city. Dave entered the medium through a series of unseen events. Jade was asleep, thus forbidden by Dave from interacting with his environment at all. Jade complied for fear of retribution. Whoosh. Dave was faced with the crow sprite, which appeared to be suggesting he prototype it again with the remains of a little cow. Dave consulted with John on this, who was about to rocket up to the 7th gate. John had no advice, and proceeded up through the gate against better judgment. Dave prototyped the sprite with cow. John entered the palace, presumably found the denizen, and was easily killed by it, as was the intent of GC's trick on him. This meant John could not establish a connection with Jade to rescue her from the looming meteor, and Dave and Rose lost contact with her, presuming her dead. Dave and Rose then spent the next 4 months in the medium, advancing as far as they could to collect information before Dave decided to travel back in time to change events. Dave used his timetables to go back to the moment Timetables. Nice, okay. He was about to prototype with Cal. Both he and his past self strongly urged John not to go through the gate. John was reluctant at first, but soon reconsidered, and flew down beneath the clouds. Future Dave then gave present Dave all his advanced gear and prototyped the crow sprite with himself to make Dave sprite, thus serving as his own guide for the future. Going back in time, future Dave convinced future Rose to go to sleep. He suggested her dream self would be unaltered by the timeline shift, and in her dream state she would remember the effects from the future. When Dave went back, Rose's future dream self assumed the position of Rose's present dream self. Rose fell asleep, and on Dursa's moon, she instantly woke up. She then saw all the genetic scrawling she did in meow letters and understood their meaning. She did? I don't remember that. Oh, that just happened here. That's when she's standing in the room. Okay. Meanwhile, on Durst below, the Black Queen again insisted that Jack Noir abide by the dress code. He refused, and the Queen threatened him. He picked up Jade's package to John, removed what was inside, and used it to slice her ring finger off. He then killed the Black Queen, put on the ring, and donned the full upgrade supplied by the 3 prototypings. He became Jack Spurs Noir Crow, which is a name I just made up now. And then after that, you started watching me type in this ridiculous study I photoshopped for myself with a cool horse painting propped up in the background. There's a horse? Well, he's not a horse anymore. I didn't read any of that. Do something less boring. MSP, shut the hell up. Retrieve arm from background. Oh no! Why don't you keep trying Homestuck or something? Okay, what's the joke? Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna end here. Well, this was an interesting episode. Half highly revealing plot details. Half a recap that revealed a lot of plot details I did not yet understand. I feel like some of those things were impossible to know before this point. Like, how would you have possibly figured out some of that stuff? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure if you were on forums at the time, it would have been far more possible. Like that Spade Slick was from an alternate universe. But I don't know. It must seem so obvious looking back, though. You know what I mean? Like, well, duh. He was looking at Carcat through a screen. I didn't even know that Carcat was in a separate universe till recently, so I didn't even think about that. Like, that information that was, like, almost a month ago. Actually, let's check. How long was it since I did the Midnight Crew episode? I feel like I should call this a very special episode, but I don't want anybody to think it's actually about murder. Not murder. Very special episodes are not usually about murder. About some sort of serious topic. That's what they're usually about. Sorry, my computer does not like loading all these things at a time. I know, that's my bad. Okay. And then Homestuck. It was literally a month ago. Awesome. Actually, it's more than a month ago, I think. Because I got sick in the middle. No wonder I forgot I got sick. How did I forget that? That wasn't even that long ago. Okay, anyway. We learned a lot of stuff. I'm going to have to process. At this point, if I'm missing anything, just tell me in the comments. Like, anything I should know. Not things that I shouldn't know yet. Anything from that recap that I should know, just let me know in the comments. Multiple people suggested I take notes, but I just can't. Because even if I take notes, like, what am I going to do? Flip through pages of notes every time something happens? I'm not even going to think about it is the problem, right? Because the example of Spade Slick with the Carcat thing, I was so excited about, like, oh, it's a troll, that I didn't even think about, like, oh, that could be, like, meaning he's from the troll universe or something. So even just, like, I would not have known to go back to that page and say, oh, Spade Slick controlled Carcat, so that means he's in exile in an alternate universe version of Jack Noir. I would not have known. I never would have connected the dots. Even though, you know, it's probably important, fairly obvious. So yeah, if there's anything, like, super important and fairly obvious that I should have got, but I just didn't, you can let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching. This episode's as long as they used to be. I didn't mean for that, but I wasn't going to stop the recap halfway through. Like and subscribe. I think we're heading... Seems how I got the Act 4... You can listen to all of Act 4's soundtracks. I think we're getting close to the end of Act 4, maybe. We'll see. Okay, bye.